Hey guys, Lord of the Lego here, and I just want to say I'm a big fan of Disney movies, especially the Disney Renaissance era that I grew up in. I grew up watching them with my sisters in the 90s and the early 2000s. I can quote almost all of them by heart. The characters are neat, the cute little animals they usually had were cute and silly, and I love their late era Renaissance movies like Rescuers Down Under, Tarzan, and the very underrated cult classic movie Atlantis: The Lost Empire, which I very much enjoy and might make another movie reviewing it at some point. But what I'm not a fan of are the live action remakes, which there appear to be more and more of these days. And here is why I just don't think they work as well. They just don't work well as nostalgic entertainment, nor an updated art form. For one, they aren't as memorable as the original movies. The way they're made is very much dated and a product of their times. When you see them, you're certain to tell it was made around the mid 2010s or so, what with the style of filming, animation, editing, and story, and they just suffer for it. It dates them even more than the originals, which are timeless classics people are certain to remember for years to come. Another issue they have is the social justice warrior messages they extol from what I've seen of them. For those of you who don't know the difference between this and a social activist, an activist would educate people about social issues and propose some plans on how to solve them, whereas a social justice warrior would eradicate whatever they claim causes said issue. For example, wheelchair access in buildings. An activist would propose elevators or ramps to allow physically disabled people to access the buildings. A social justice warrior would try to burn down the building or destroy the stairs because their very existence could possibly offend people who can't use them. Live action remakes extol some pretty annoying messages like that just grind the whole plot to a halt. Remember what I said in my Planet Ripple review about messages in a narrative being used correctly, flowing with the story naturally, and not grinding the plot to a halt? Well, according to several reviews and even some clips I've seen of some live action movies like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, they do just that and the movies suffer for it. For reviews of the live action remakes themselves, since I currently don't have any plans to see them and haven't seen very many of them myself, I recommend the hilarious reviewer Bob Show, who reviews several of them and gives off some pretty concise and compelling points, as well as illustrating the main reason I don't like them being remade as live action. Of the movies I have seen so far, they're just meh. The Jungle Book was kind of lackluster, and I didn't like some of the casting, particularly Bill Murray as Baloo. Portrayal of King Louie was just weird, particularly when he just randomly started bursting a song out of nowhere just because it was in the original movie. And it kind of bugged me how Mowgli ended up burning down the jungle in the end, but was still the hero. Shere Khan was cast well, but for some reason I kind of like his original portrayal better. Overall, the movie was kind of a mess, and I personally prefer the Andy Serkis movie Mowgli to this remake. From what little I can remember about the live action Cinderella, it wasn't very good, or even memorable like the original one, and Maleficent was a total mess. Ironically, other companies have done live action Disney stories better than Disney themselves, such as the movie Snow White and the Huntsman, which was loads better than Mirror Mirror, and even had better music, courtesy of Hans Zimmer and Yona Gika, who made this hauntingly beautiful song, Gone, which I liked so much I put it in one of my YouTube playlists for calming music. What really bugs me is it seems like Disney is out of ideas and figures that they can just say, hey kids, remember those really old movies your parents saw years ago? Well, we're remaking them to be darker and edgier and have moral messages for you kids so you think they're hip and rad too. But it just doesn't work. I have the same problems with other remakes, like Michael Bay's Transformer movies, or pretty much most every Transformers series made after Beast Machines. It just feels like they're rehashing what worked back right then in the vain hope that they'll make some money. But that's what it's all about, isn't it? Money. I say this not to be snarky or hateful, but to express my disappointment with what the Disney Corporation is wasting their time and money on this, when they could actually do something creative with all their resources, especially since the remakes haven't been well received at all from critics in particular or the public in general. What really bugs me is that out of all the 20 or so movies they have planned for the next year, at least half, if not all, next couple of years, at least half, if not all, if not more of them, are live action remakes of their older films. This kind of gives off the idea that Disney is just running out of ideas and going through another dark age. An age where they make movies just to make money, which isn't what Walt Disney wanted originally when he first started this corporation. See, he didn't care about getting rich off of ticket sales or making it big with the popular crowd. Walt Disney wanted to make movies everyone would enjoy. To quote one of his most famous sayings, "You're dead if you aim only for kids. Adults are only kids grown up anyway." Well, I guess that's all I have to say about that. Please comment to tell me what you think of my take of Disney's remakes, and subscribe if you like this kind of geeky content. This is Lord of the Lego, signing off.